Well, hello, Lapidary lovers, rock tumbling fanatics. Mike here. Welcome back to my channel, and welcome again to What Am I Tumbling Today? Today, we are going to have a look in the big 12-pound tumbler back here. Now, most of the time, that tumbler is my rough tumbler. All the rough stones start out in there. They get tumbled, they get rounded off enough to go on to the next finer grits, and they wind up in one of these other tumblers. But I was having a backlog, and a lot of stones were backing up and waiting on another tumbler to go into, the next grit. So I decided to convert this over for the second grit and put all my stones that were waiting on the second grit in there and tumble them for a while, and then disperse them to other tumblers once they're ready for pre-polish and polish. So I put a bunch of stones in there that were ready for the second grit. I didn't have room for any media. People were concerned that without the media, they may not tumble well. And I'll tell you what, I looked at this after about 2 weeks, and it really hadn't tumbled all that well without some media, let me tell you. So I put some more grit in there, and I let it go, and it's been about another 2 weeks. I did have a peek in here about a week ago, and I pulled out a few pieces that I thought were done, and I didn't want them to continue to go, but I thought the bulk of it needed to go at least another week. So let me pull it off, dump it out, clean up the rocks, rinse off the rocks. We'll take a quick look at them, and we'll decide if they're ready to move on to the next grit. And I could refill this with more rough rocks. That'd be nice, because I've got a big backlog of rough rocks. So, all right, let me get busy on that, and I'll show you what they look like once I've got them rinsed off. Here they are, all cleaned off and wet. So I'm going to do a sort of modified version of my usual sorting. I'm going to sort through these and see what looks like they're ready to go to pre-polish. If they're ready to go, I'm going to put them in this bucket of water over here to keep them wet until I can get them in an ultrasonic tank to clean them up really good. If they don't look like they're ready to go forward into pre-polish, I'm going to throw them in this cardboard box and set them aside until I have another batch going into the second grit. Okay? And then I'm also going to pull out any that I don't think are ever going to polish up. Sometimes after they tumble for a while, they fracture, they start looking ugly, and it's like, well, that's never going to clean up. I'm going to pull it out. Case in point, this one right on top, I think it fractured through here, and I think a part fell off over here. I don't think this stone's ever going to clean up, which is a shame because it's really pretty. It's got some nice colors in it, petrified wood. But I really don't think I can tumble this stone. Maybe I'll try cutting it on trim saw and see if I can get some small slabs out of it. But I don't know, it might just fall apart even then. And then, but hey, look at this. Here's a piece of petrified wood. It's got a fissure on the back that's never going to clean up. But wow, is that pretty? Look at the colors in that. I do hope they're showing up. Wow. And it's very smooth other than this fissure on the back, which is never going to clean up. So I think this one's ready to move on to pre-polish. So we'll put that in the bucket over here. Here is a piece of brecciated Jasper. I found this rockhounding in southeast Wyoming. This is part of a much bigger rock. This is the heel I cut off of it. I cut some slabs out, and the remainder of the rock is tumbling somewhere. Very pretty, very smooth. It's got a couple pits in it over here. But again, those are never going to polish out without making the rock way too small. So I'm just going to move this forward. I think that's ready to go. I was talking about southeast Wyoming. Yes. Here's some funky Jasper agate I found in southeast Wyoming. It's got purple Jasper, red Jasper, and a couple of lines of translucent chalcedony running through it, which I don't know if you can see that. I had another piece that looked like Superman, a nice S. In fact, I could cut that off and make an S. Maybe I'll cab that into another S, another Superman S, because the first one turned out so nice. This is definitely ready to move forward. That's very smooth. Now here's a piece of agate. You can see the banding in it. Cool. It's very pretty. It's been taking forever to clean up. And to be perfectly honest, I'm not sure this is ready to move forward. This is obviously a very, very hard piece of agate, because this is taking a lot longer than a lot of other agates to smooth out. So I'm going to put it in the box, and it's going to go through the second grit one more time. Speaking of agates, here's an agate I got at a rock shop in South Dakota. I'm pretty sure it was Ken's off of his bargain table. It was fractured. It had been tumbled, but it was fractured on this side. It was as sharp as broken glass. So I decided to retumble it. And to be perfectly honest, I think that could tumble a little more too. I'm not sure it's ready. Here's some petrified wood. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty. That's definitely ready. Definitely ready. Some banded chert. Again, from one of my Wyoming rockhounding trips. These two pieces. They're both ready. They're very smooth. Some banded iron. Oh yeah. Again, I'm pretty sure this came from my Southeast Wyoming rockhounding trip, which there should be still a link in the upper right too. My wife and I can't wait to get out there and do some more. That's a really pretty piece of rock right there, and it's ready. Keep these wet. I don't want them to dry up. What do we got here? That little piece of agate. That's cool. I wonder what that's spalled off of. Huh. Very smooth. That's petrified wood. Yeah, that's petrified wood. Fully agatized. Very smooth. That's ready to move on. Some more banded iron. Oh yeah. Very smooth. That's ready to go. Yeah, these took a while without any media in here, but we got there in the end. This looks like banded Jasper. It's very rough on this side, but very smooth everywhere else. This could probably go a little while longer. I'll put that in the box. A little flat piece of banded iron with a bright neon red line running through it. I don't know if that's showing up. Oh, I think it fractured a little bit along this edge. That probably needs to tumble a little while longer. That's pretty sharp and jagged right there. What do we got here? Half of an agate nodule. Where did I find this? I found this on that Southeast Wyoming rockhounding trip. There's a lot of stuff from Southeast Wyoming in here. Yeah. So I cut this nodule in half, hoping it was better looking on the inside than the outside, but it wasn't. But it's tumbling up to be nice. The chalcedony inside is very transparent. I can see deep into this nodule. It's got a little bit of black moss here and there, and some white something, and some like swirl patterns. That's turning into a cool rock, and I think it's ready to move forward. Another big piece of banded iron from Southeast Wyoming. It's got a big fissure in it that is never, ever gonna, go away. But the rest of the rock feels great. Looks great. I think it's ready to move forward. Ooh, that's a heavy rock. There's a lot of iron in there. There's a lot of petrified wood in here too. Look at the color in that and how translucent it is. I hope that's showing up, the translucency. This came from the Dobell Ranch in Arizona. They have land just outside of the Petrified Forest National Park, and they'll let you collect wood on their land. Now they have dozers and stuff, and they dig up the land and they pull out big chunks of wood and lay it out. You can just choose from that, or you can get a pick and a shovel and a bucket, and you can go out and dig up your own. Either way, it's a good day out in the Arizona outback at the Dobell Ranch, and a full bucket, 5-gallon bucket of petrified wood I collected there. I could barely lift. They only wanted $50 for it. It's a deal too. So, and it's some of the prettiest wood I have ever dealt with. That's a nice thin piece of it right there. Yeah. So most of the petrified wood in here came from the Dobell Ranch. Here's a piece. Look at the dendrites in that and the crazy colors. I hope the colors are showing through. Wow. That's going to be pretty when it's fully polished. And it's ready to move on. Some more petrified wood. Unfortunately, this one's all fractured. This one I'm going to take out because I don't think that's ever going to clean up enough to move on. Here's another piece. It's got a big fracture in it. But I'll tell you what, 90% of the surface is looking really nice. Got a pit right there. That may be part of an extension of that fracture. I'm going to move this one forward just because I don't think leaving it in this grit is going to accomplish anything. So I think it's pretty much ready to go. This is like some amygdaloidal basalt or rhyolite. Where did I get this? This might have been southeast Wyoming too. I don't think this is ready to move on. It's very rough on that side, so we'll tumble it some more. This green rock, to be perfectly honest, I don't remember where I got it. I don't know if it's going to smooth out. Its texture is not as smooth as I would like it to be after being in the second stage for so long. This may never polish, but I don't think leaving it in stage 2 is going to accomplish anything, so we're going to move it forward. We'll see if I'm wrong, and maybe it will polish up. So there's a lot of green moss agate in here. Oh yeah. Green moss in that. Oh yeah. And I think these are ready. That one's just basically green, and it's rough. Not a very interesting rock. I'm going to take that one out and set it aside. I don't think it's ever going to amount to much. This one here at least has some mossy patterns in it. They're subtle. It's got a little purple in it too. And that one's smooth. So those 4 I think are ready to go forward. Yeah. Well, that's nice. Yeah, those are ready to go forward. They were in rough for a long time because this green moss agate's hard. So they were in rough for a long time to get smoothed out. And now a month in the second stage grit. Some of these are going to be really, really pretty. What's this? Oh yeah, here's one. Look at the moss in that. Is that special? I like that. Nice. Here's another piece. Here's another piece. Whoops. And I would say these 3 are ready to go. Okay. More Dobell Ranch petrified wood. Yeah. I'm going to move this one forward. Pretty smooth. Nice colors in it. Wow. Patterns. Crazy. Yeah, we're moving that one forward. Wow, 12-pound tumblers hold a lot of rocks. Another piece of petrified wood from the Dobell Ranch. Now this is one of my favorite pieces going in because it's got some really funky yellow veins in it. Yellow, orange, and red veins. But it is just not cleaning up the way I'd hoped it would, especially on this side. This is all super rough. Again, I'm going to set this one aside because I don't think this one's going to tumble, but I'm going to try maybe on the trim saw to get a few thin slices off before I get into this bad area. And we'll see if there's anything usable in here. At the very least, I'll cut the bad area off, and maybe I'll try tumbling the rest of it. That's a really pretty rock. I wish it would turn out better. Some Red Cave Creek Jasper that my buddy Jim sent me. Looks like this fractured at some point. It's kind of rough over here. I'm thinking this might need to go for a little while longer. We'll put that in the box. Now, I hope you folks have watched my series of videos I just did on rock hounding in Arizona. I just got back from Arizona. I spent 2 weeks out there, did a lot of rock hounding, found a lot of neat rocks. You're going to see them tumbled and cut here in future videos. I'll put a link to that series of videos where I was rock hounding in Arizona up in the upper right. This is a rock I found on my previous rock hounding trip out to Arizona. It's just covered in yellow polka dots. I don't know what it is. I actually cut it in half, so this is half of it, because I wanted to see if the polka dots continued inside, and they do. So I think this is about as good as it's going to get, so we're going to move it forward. See what that looks like when it is polished. Here's a piece of banded Jasper, multicolored. That's pretty good. We'll move that forward. A slab, what I call flame jasper. I mean, look at the flame pattern in there. See that? Look at that. Wow, that's cool. But it's very thin on this side. This is a heel I cut off the rock. And it's very thin on this side, and it's fractured multiple times here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this aside and take it to my flat lap and smooth out this really thin edge here, and then throw it back in the tumbler, and hopefully it won't continue to chip on the edge. This thicker edge is nice. But wow, I love that flame pattern in this stuff. That is really cool. But I'm going to set that aside, unfortunately. Let's see, we got more Dobell Ranch petrified wood. Oh, this one's nice. This one's nice. Nice colors, nice pattern. Smooth as a baby's behind. That one's moving forward. Jasper Agate from Wyoming. It's got a little bit of red fortification banding over here on the edge. This is another one I probably need to take to the flat lap. Yeah, it's a heel, and this thin edge is chipping, so I'm going to set that one aside. Some agates I found on my own Arizona property. This used to be petrified wood, fully agatized petrified wood. The wood's all eroded away into pieces, just chips laying all over the property. And there's some places there's these big chips of agate. This is ready to move on. It's very smooth everywhere. So that's ready to move on. What's this? I know what that is. That is half of a Teepee Canyon agate nodule. I hope the fortification banding in there is showing up. Yeah. So, up in South Dakota, I picked this up at a rock shop. I think it was Dave's rock shop up there, and I got the two halves of it. The one half has already made it all the way through to polish, and it's quite attractive. So this part needs to make it through to polish too, and maybe I can mount the two halves of them together on a board or something and make something pretty. So that's kind of nice. That's kind of cool. The nodule itself has become very smooth. Yeah, and the tumbling has actually exposed more of the fortification banding in there than there was before I threw it in, so that's cool. So that's ready to move forward. I got some mookaite here. Again, I bought this up at a rock shop in South Dakota. Again, was it Dave's? Or was it Ken's? I think it was Ken's, but they're just down the street from each other, less than a mile apart. And we always visit both of them when we go up there. So this mookaite is ready to move forward. This is a heel. It's got a rough area here, but the edges are otherwise are nice and smooth, and both sides are smooth, and the color is great. So that's moving forward. What do we got here? This looks like a little bubblegum agate. This one I collected in Nebraska, maybe? Maybe. Oh, I've collected I've been on so many rockhounding trips, it's hard to keep track. I guess that's a good thing. That looks like it's ready to move forward. Let's see, we got some more green moss agate here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, that one's cool. 6, 7. Ooh, yeah, that's another cool one. 8 pieces of that. I want to move them all forward. I think they're all ready. I don't think I've hit one yet that wasn't. So we're just going to move all those forward. Another piece of agate from my own property. It used to be petrified wood. It's got nice black moss in it. That's cool. That's got some nice moss in it. And that's polishing up nicely. So we're going to move that one forward. We're getting down to it now. More Dobell Ranch petrified wood. Yeah, no. That one needs to tumble a little while longer. This is some petrified wood I found when I was out hiking. The colors in it are absolutely amazing. I don't know if they're showing up, but they're absolutely amazing. But the texture, the surface, is just, it's not smoothing out as well as I'd hoped. I don't know what I want to do with that. I might set this aside. Maybe I can try cutting a cab out of here where the color's so nice and avoiding all the rough areas. But I don't think that's going to tumble. What What we got here? Oh, wow. Look at that. That is some seriously cool Dobell Ranch petrified wood. Wow. Wow. Oh, yeah, that is nice. It's got a big fissure in it right here. It kind of runs along there, but otherwise, 95% of this rock is super smooth and ready to move forward. That fissure's never going away. I'm moving that rock forward. That's going to be super pretty when it's done. More petrified wood here. Oh, yeah. The grain in that, colorful. Yeah, that's ready to move forward. It's kind of borderline, but I'm going to move it forward. Part of an purple and red and orange agate nodule I cut up. Made some thin slabs out of it. You can see the light going through. And, oh yeah, that's tumbling up pretty. Ooh, what do we got here? There's the other part of my yellow polka dot rock right there. And I'd say it's ready to go forward too. Let's see. Little piece of petrified wood. I might as well move it forward rather than make it any smaller. Some nice multicolored petrified wood here. Sort of maroon over here and charcoal gray over here. It's just a little rough. Can't move that forward. Actually, yeah, that goes in the box. Okay, we'll tumble that some more. Here's another piece. Yeah, I can't quite move forward. Some more orange and multicolored agate nodule here. No fortification banding, but interesting colors in this agate. And it needs to tumble a little while longer. Ah, yeah. That is some kind of Wyoming mystery rock. I'm not sure what it is. It's got some hematite in it, but I don't think it's banded iron. I think it's just multicolored Jasper. Here's another Wyoming mystery rock. This one, I'm going to move forward. I think it's ready. This one, I've been tumbling for a long time. It used to be a lot bigger. It's getting smaller, but it's not getting smoother. So I don't think it's ever going to get smooth. I think it's just going to tumble away to nothing. So I'm going to set this one aside and take it out of the batch. And then we're getting down to some pretty small pieces here. There's some multicolored Jasper, similar to the flame Jasper. That needs to tumble a little while longer. Mostly clear piece of agate right here. That's smooth. That can go forward. Ooh, you know what that is? That's a piece that spalled off of one of my TP Canyon agate nodules. I can see a little bit of fortification in there, some red fortification. It's very smooth. It's ready to go. Some more Dobell Ranch petrified wood. Oh, that is... Ooh, look at the colors. And some translucent chalcedony there. Wow. Yeah. Nice. That is definitely ready to go forward. It's nice and smooth. And we're down to just a whole lot of little pieces here. A couple more little moss agates. I'm going to throw them in. This, I know what this is. This is some Ohio flint. We got when we went up to Ohio for the eclipse this last spring. We picked up some flint up there. Here's some petrified wood, but that broke, obviously. That is very sharp and jagged there. That's not going to tumble. Piece of agate here, but it's breaking up. Thin slice, it's breaking up. It's not going to tumble. Another piece of agate, but that needs more time. Well, I might move this one forward, even though it's very rough along this edge, because it'll kind of show off that, hey, you know, this used to be a tree. It's got bark on this edge, even though it's really pretty and multicolored glassy on the inside. So I might move that one forward. Another Wyoming mystery rock that, again, is not smoothing out. It's just getting smaller, so I will take that out of the mix. Another piece of Ohio flint. Move that one forward because it's getting small. Mystery rock. And then these small pieces, I think I'm just going to discard them. I really don't think they amount to much. They're just, I could keep them as tumbling media maybe. I mean, they're not really, for the most part, Very pretty. Okay, that one is. That one's going forward. But these are just too small, and not much I can do with them. Ooh, I lied again. That one's going forward. Okay. All right. I'm done. I'm done. The rest of these are getting discarded or thrown in with my tumbling media pile. And what we got over here is the stuff that's moving forward into pre-polish. There's a lot of rocks here. Yeah, there's a lot of rocks here. So my tumblers are going to be very busy in pre-polish. And over here, we've got a few rocks that need to go back into stage 2 for a while. They're close, but they're not quite there yet. So, the next step for this stuff is I need to give it a bath in my ultrasonic cleaner to get the last traces of the stage 2 grit out of the nooks and crannies on these things before they move forward into the next grit, the pre-polish. So let me get set up for that, and we'll get a batch going, because this is probably at least 3 or 4 batches of rocks through the ultrasonic cleaner. It's not that big. So this is going to take a while. Okay, I've got the first batch of rocks in the ultrasonic cleaner here. Let's probably take 3 or 4 batches. There's a lot of rocks in that 12-pound tumbler. So let me put a little bit of Dawn dishwashing liquid in here. Not too much, just a few drops. And start it up for about 45 minutes, as per usual. And yeah, I see a little bit of mud coming off of the rocks here and there. Not a huge amount this time. Just a little bit here and there. But this will get the rocks super clean before they go into the next grit. I won't make you watch all 4 times I do this, okay? This is going to be tedious. It may run into tomorrow. I'll just leave the rest of the rocks in this bucket of water over here so they stay wet, so that whatever grit is left stuck in their nooks and crannies, see, I see some coming out over here, whatever grit's stuck in their nooks and crannies doesn't harden up like concrete, and when their turn comes to go in here, they will get nice and clean. So let me set this aside and work on something else you might find interesting. Alright, so normally at the end of these What Am I Tumbling Now videos, I will take the stuff after it's been through the ultrasonic and I'll put it in a tumbler, a clean tumbler, and I will start it on the next grit. We're not going to do that this time because, as you can see at the beginning of the video, all my tumblers are in use right now. So I'm going to go back to tumbling rough rocks in the big 12-pound tumbler. And you may be thinking to yourself, but all you've done is move your backlog from stage 2 to stage 3. And yes, that's exactly what I've done. And I've already considered that. And you know what I'm going to do to fix that problem? I'm going to build myself a second high-capacity tumbler so I can run at least 3 more barrels, okay? That's coming up in the future. So if you're interested in building your own high-capacity tumbler like mine, and I'm going to have 2 of them soon, subscribe to see those future videos where I do the tumbler build. It's really pretty darn simple to build yourself a high-capacity tumbler. You don't have to be an engineering genius. You don't have to be an electrical genius. You know, you don't have to be a genius in anything, at woodworking, anything. You can just slap something together. All it's got to do is turn a barrel. The only part you're going to have to buy, probably, is some barrels. The rest of it's simple. But that's all for another video. In this video, I'm going to fill up this 12-pound tumbler with some rough rocks and get it turning again. So what rocks am I going to put in it? Well, let me get them wet, and you'll see why I want to tumble these things. A lot of this stuff over here came from my own property in Arizona. Again, part of that series on Rockhounding Arizona. I did some on my own back 40, my own backyard, some rockhounding. Over here is some stuff I got from other places in Arizona. Some of this came from up the road a few miles. Some of this came from as far away as Superior, Arizona, where I was poking around at Ticket Post Mountain. So, but all this stuff came from Arizona. Got some bright red stuff, got some bright orange stuff. So, got lots of agatized petrified wood. This has got some nice dark mossy inclusions in it. So, we'll see how they turn out. And I'm going to fill out the rest of the drum with other stuff. I got a bunch of other rocks back here. Some of this came from Rockhounding in Nebraska. I had a video recently where I cut a bunch of rocks I found in Nebraska. Some of them are really pretty on the inside, and they're going to tumble up nice. And I've got other stuff. I've got some rocks I bought at rock shops, rocks I picked up in various places, and some slices of agate here. A heel from a Montana moss agate, and a slice of a life-side agate. I'm going to throw them in and see how they tumble. I've had good luck tumbling agate slices, so I'm going to throw them in with this rest of this stuff. We'll see how much of this stuff I can get in the barrel. Hopefully it'll all fit. If not, some of it can wait till next time. If it looks like the barrel's not full enough, I'll throw a little bit more in, because I've got about 50 pounds of rocks that need to be tumbled sitting over on the table over there. And more box stuff that just came back from Arizona. So let me get the drum filled up, and we'll get some water and grit on it and get it spinning. Yeah, 12-pound tumbler's a whole lot of rocks. That big pile of rock I had out here wasn't nearly enough, so I got a bunch more stuff in here. Bubblegum agates I found rockhounding in Nebraska, another Teepee Canyon agate nodule, the end of cut off of one, and just some petrified wood and all kinds of stuff. So I think that's enough. That's a good load. So let me get some water in here. Ooh, 12-pound tumblers take a lot of water too. Not too much, because I don't want to cushion them with the water. I want these to actually knock the corners off of each other and round out. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 teaspoons of 80 grit to start with. The big tumbler, I would normally put in about a teaspoon a pound. Let me get this lidded up, and we'll get it spinning. I'll check on it in a week. I might dump off the slurry and put some more grit and water, fresh water on it, and get it started again, because a week's probably not going to be enough. I'm thinking after 2 weeks I can sort through it and see what's ready to move on and what's not. Alright, so I've got to relabel this because it's no longer in number 2 and the date is wrong. But you know what? I'm just going to leave it unmarked, because we are back to just being in rough grit, which is the way it's always been. So I will remember that. Yeah, since I don't have tumblers available for these stones, I'm just going to, after they come out of the ultrasonic cleaner, I'm just going to dry them off, put them in a clean container, and store them until I do have a tumbler available. Okay, let's get this big boy back on here. Get it spinning again. Oh, that's a heavy drum. All right, and away we go. I'll check on it in a week or so. Well, I hope you folks found this somewhat longer than usual What Am I Tumbling Today video interesting, educational, informative, inspirational, whatever. Get out there and tumble some rocks. If so, give it a like, give it a thumbs up. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching this one. Bye.